why is the pattern still here? What is the deal? Why are we still spinning in this story? Why are you still spinning in this story? It's been like your whole life, for some of you, lifetimes of working through this particular pattern, whatever it is for you. It's not safe to be me. I feel abandoned. I'm lonely. I am unlovable. Or love leaves. Whatever the story is, there's always one or many that we take on as these identities of who we think we are, when underneath who we truly are is prior to and through all of that. And so I really am here to help navigate that process of why do we even keep telling ourselves these stories? What is it that hooks us in? Because some of you come to me of doing this stuff for decades. You've been healing for decades and you're just freaking tired and you're done. So why aren't you letting it go? Why aren't you letting it go? And that's really the question here, is what is keeping you stuck? What is keeping you from actually releasing this thing, whatever this particularity is for you? And for some of you, you're sitting here thinking, I don't know. And some of you have a little bit more clarity than that. You're like, I'm scared to death. And it's not even an exaggeration. And here's why. It's because on other timelines, because everything's happening now. So you got to recognize time is more up like this or out. It's not so like this. It's more like that, right? And so it's like everything's happening now in this holographic reality, and you're choosing where to point, where to focus in all these different places, but you're also experiencing yourself on all these other timelines, all these other places that are playing out a similar story, a similar frequency, because you're choosing in this moment to dance this dance. So in all these timelines, you're dancing this particular frequency. So if you're dancing in the frequency of I don't matter, then on all these different frequencies, it's going to show up in a slightly different way. Maybe it's abandonment. Maybe it's, having your parents die. Maybe it's having an abusive family. Maybe it's, all these different ways. And so there's slightly different characters, circumstances, and things, but the root underneath it is all leading to that same thing. And they say, well, why can't I just let this go? Why can't I just let this go? Right. And usually there's an open timeline that you've experienced a reason why it's not safe to let that thing go, right? So it usually comes back to a place of safety that has been disrupted within your core blueprint, a place within yourself that has been kind of broken in that original blueprint of trust. We're all born with this original blueprint of trust, by the way. So it's just finding the place in the pattern, in the timelines where this trust got broken, the trust within yourself. So this kind of fragment of your own soul song, your own place that is inherently trustworthy, that deep down can trust because it is you and you're connected to that. When you get disconnected from that, it's easy to say, I don't know how to trust, or I don't know who to trust, because you've lost that connection of trust within yourself. So that's part of what gets restored in this process I take people through, called Return, which actually includes DiYeena's signature initiation called Soul Song, which is bringing back your soul particles into the oneness so that you can feel the experience of your wholeness rather than feeling kind of scattered, kind of like missing pieces, or like if you just kind of feel like, I just don't feel like I'm here. I don't feel like I'm fully here, right? So that's pieces of it. So where in the storyline did you have a thing where it's like, oh man, I can't let this go, because if I do, the kids are not safe, or we get attacked, or people leave, or people get hurt, or I die, or I suffocate, or something. It's like, it's usually that dramatic. When we actually go into the timelines, there's usually an experience in the soul that has not been completed or resolved within the psyche. And this is all like subconscious psyche stuff, right? That's infiltrating or kind of influencing this timeline, this body. You have these open timelines of experience that actually contribute to your experience here. And if those have had experiences of it's not safe to be me, it's not safe to whatever the case may be, to love, that's going to impact your ability to let go of this pattern in this lifetime. So that we're usually gripping on somewhere in the field for dear life, oftentimes, because we're holding on to this false sense of safety, or this false sense of love, this false sense of comfort, or whatever it might be, right? And, it's just a lot easier for a lot of people to stay small, to stay safe, to stay comfortable, right? And so it pushes up against these places where we're being asked on a soul level to step into the unknown. And that can be scary, right? It's like, that's a definition of unknown, is you don't know what's waiting for you on the other side. So how do you know you can trust it? And that's actually where consciousness takes you when you start to meditate and really dissolve these places of identification, of ego identification, until there's really nothing left. You are asked to dissolve. You are asked to dive into the nothing, and so there has to be a level of willingness to trust in creation itself, in life itself. And if you look at nature, it models this so beautifully. Like, look at nature. Things naturally go through the death and the rebirth and the growing process and the blooming process and the falling away and the dying and the composting and the seeding and the blooming through. And so you look at the cycle of death and rebirth. Like, it's a proof. If the macro is a reflection of the micro, and the micro is a reflection of the macro, then you can go out and you can look at a field of flowers and look at that same field throughout an entire year, especially if you live in a place like Vermont, where I do, and you can go watch the ground get iced over from the snow, and you can watch that snow melt, and you can watch it all turn muddy, and you can watch the seeds that have fallen from the year prior start to bloom new life, and you can watch in the fall these flowers dying away, and you can watch that cycle. And so you can see, wow, like when this seed goes under the earth and goes into the quote unquote nothing, the place it doesn't know, the place that might feel scary, you don't see the seed getting scared to go into the darkness, to go into the void, to go into the places where it hasn't been. It trusts, it falls, and it trusts that the earth is going to catch it, right? And that it gets to grow and blossom into new life. And so that is the process of life itself. Life breathes in and out of existence all the time. It's what we're doing right now. That's the hologram you're living in right now. It's constantly moving in and out of creation in every single breath. And so there is this kind of proof, if you want to call it like that, but you have to find some anchor point within yourself that's willing to trust just for a moment. It doesn't have to trust fully, but it has to trust enough, either by it being anchored in your soul song enough, connected into your own source of trust, or finding some anchor of trust, whether it's looking at life, trusting in God, trusting in a higher power, trusting in source, finding that place where you can actually land in a place of trusting. Okay, I'm just going to do the trust fall. Just going to do the trust fall. And you have to have that moment of willingness where the pain that you're in is worse than the mystery of what might be. And when you get to that point, the trust fall happens on its own. And that's really the times that we're in right now, is everyone is doing these trust falls because it's what's being asked on a collective level. It's like we're all being asked to let go. We're all being asked to compost our old lives, our old ways of being. The things that we used to do cannot move into this new frequency that we're all headed into. And so these things that are being asked to compost within us are here for new life. And so we have to be willing to move within this flow of life. So that's a little bit about the why when we're gripping on to these patterns of why you might be holding on so tightly. Is usually there's a reason. Your soul believes it's not safe to let it go, or some other variation of that. There's a reason you're holding on to it. There's some part of you that believes it's important to hold on to, or you would have already let it go. You would have already let it go. So if everything in the conscious part of you is like, I'm done, and that the subconscious is running the show, holding on for dear life, that's the part that's asking for your attention. That's the part that's asking for some reconciliation, some remembrance, some holding, right? And we're not talking on these levels of like, let's cope with this pattern. Let's cope with this trauma. Let's learn to manage it or work with it or find tools to navigate it. This is not what we're talking about at all. This is understanding that you're a sovereign soul who chose to come here, who chose to move in consciousness in a particular way, who chose to spin with frequency in a particular way, who is not the frequency it's choosing to dance with, and who is sovereign, gets to choose when that dance is over. So if you are choosing to dance with the frequency of I'm unlovable, or it's not safe to be me, or whatever the story is, recognize that you chose to experience this, and you are dancing with this belief. You are dancing with this frequency, and you and only you get to decide when you're done. Only you can decide that. And all of you needs to be in agreement that you're done, not just the conscious mind, all of you. And so usually this part, on the parts underneath, are what are being asked to have reconciliation, to be acknowledged. And this is where the multidimensional work that I do with the channeling with DiYeena, and this comes really into play here, is because you can't just address the pattern on the surface level. You have to go to the root. You have to go where it started. And then you have to go prior to where it started, so that you can actually anchor in your soul song prior to the pattern itself, prior to the frequency itself, so that you can really have a clear standing point to remember, oh yeah, that's me prior to all of this. I can feel myself again. And oh yeah, there's that pattern. There's that belief. There's that whatever that is that you chose to dance with, and you can see it clearly. And then you can choose to return it to source. Then you can choose to put down the dance. It's up to you. So be empowered. Be empowered that you can, that you are choosing. And just be clear that when you're ready to let it go, all of you has to choose. So that's a little bit from my perspective. Let's bring in DiYeena. I've got some tea for her. It's a hot day. I know she's kind of not really into the hot tea right now, but it's okay. She'll get over it. We'll do our best. For those who are new here, welcome. I channel a being named DiYeena. She is Pleiadian in essence, or in frequency. Or at least that's the, it's kind of the flavor she brings. We'll just put it like that, because it's hard to really define what's exactly coming through. It's a bigger frequency known as the living Ma. And DiYeena is the name of the emissary, or the voice that comes through speaking for this collective and this kind of home-based frequency, which is this kind of womb or primordial frequency of creation, where all the spiral of knowledge lives and moves and returns to in this life, death, birth cycle that we've been talking about. So it is that spiral itself that I'm channeling. And this being DiYeena, this frequency DiYeena, is the name or the emissary that comes through. And she's coming through specifically now because of what we're going through on our planet. They've gone through it. Pleiadians have been through this dance of moving collectively from a lower dimensionality to a higher dimensionality in consciousness. And so they're here to help. They're here to show us that there's nothing to be afraid of. And they're here to help us see what actually is necessary in the physicality of what we're doing here to kind of raise our vibes and raise our frequency, so that we can easily transition into this energetic. That's always been here, by the way. It's not anything new. So we're just rising up to meet it, if you want to think about it like that, which is probably not the way she would describe it. All right, well, I've got some tea. I'm going to go ahead and go right out, put you in touch with DiYeena. So here we go. Greetings, it's DiYeena, the Pleiadian family. We are here first and foremost to bring the love, also to sip a little tea together. So here we are together, opening the hearts, feeling oneness here together, and getting us all connected. So raise your cups together, whether you got the water, put in the chat, what are you drinking, where are you from? We like to hear because it connects us all. So it's good to say, where are you from? Don't be shy in the chat. It's good to say. So here we are, my dears. Okay, very good. Did you write it in the chat yet? We'll wait for you. What are you drinking? Are you drinking some tea? Are you drinking some water? Where do you live, my dear? Where are you calling from? Where are you listening from? Put it in the chat. We like to hear from you, because it really gives us a sense of where you're all at. It's really fun. It's fun. Well, we are here just to kind of give a little party. Why not have a little good day? You see, we're kidding. We're not always kidding about that, but we like to have the parties, you see. But these places in consciousness here, where Abba talking about these kind of multi-dimensional places that we hold in consciousness, these patterns or beliefs, or little kind of traumas or tears, you see, this happens. And we kind of almost like a little part of our essence, kind of sometimes will get a little, just kind of like, what do you call when you have like a, get a little beat up in like a sporting game or something, like bumped up a little bit, but you're not broken, you see. Kind of like that. You get a little bruised or something like that. And so sometimes in the experience of who you are, it feels like parts of you have gone missing. It's the experience. It's not true, but it's your experience, you see. So you come down then to the version that you're here, 3D on Earth, and perhaps it feels in your body like, just feels like I'm not all here, or it feels like something is missing, or I just have a sense that there's more to me, there's more that I'm not acknowledging or letting in, or however you word. Ooh, excuse me, we do a little burp. Isn't that fun? More than what you need, you see, more than what you see, you see, or more than what you're feeling and experiencing. And these are simply the parts of us that have gone through these little traumas, little moments in our soul's journey where we just get a little bruised, a little bumped up, you see. And it's kind of like the harder moments in the experience. And so in the reclamation, in the initiation of coming back into your soul song, what you're choosing is to come back into the experiential awareness of your wholeness. So basically stop pretending that you're not whole, you see. So that's what's happening there in that process, is you're stopping to pretend you're not whole, and you're choosing to acknowledge all of you, all of the parts of yourself, you see. And in that, you're reclaiming a lot of your energy, a lot of your power, a lot of your presence, a lot of your clarity, a lot of your decision making. All of these things start to come back into your conscious awareness in your body, in your physical body, in this timeline. And it gives you more confidence, more assuredness, more clarity, more decisiveness, more love, more light, more ability to be in your gift, your soul gift, so that you can give that to the world. You see, so it's a very important part of the process here. You see, and so that's also part connected into these places where we get bumped along the road, you see, are the places where the subconscious mind says, oh, I don't know if I'm really ready to let that go. Because if I did, something terrible might happen, because look at over there, look what happened last time. So the soul keeps track in a certain way and says, well, look what happened last time. We better not try that again. We don't want to experience that pain again or that loss again. See, so we try to do it out of protecting ourselves or keeping safety or keeping love or all these different things. But the real safety, the real trust, the real love always comes from within. So when you come into the reclamation of who you truly are, you anchor yourself in the presence, you anchor yourself in your essence. And so then it's easy to recognize the frequencies that are not your essence, my dears. It's easy to see, oh, there's that little harp over there I'm playing along that says I'm a burden, or whatever it might be. I don't matter. You see, nobody likes me. You see, playing another one over here. I can't make the monies. You see, I can't support myself, or I'm not supported. You see, things like that. All these, we have your soul song playing your beautiful harp, and you have all these other little harps you're just strumming along. And you're not recognizing that you're the one playing it. You're the one with the finger going do. You see, playing that particular note in consciousness. And then worse than that, you're not only playing it, but you're thinking it's you. You're thinking it's you. So this is really to say that there's ways through all of this, you see, so that you can be in your wholeness, shining your light, giving your gift, being the fullness of who you are, so that you can really be here doing what you're here to do in the end of the day, without the false light, without the false frequencies that are weighing you down, holding you back, you see. It's one thing if you're choosing to dance with it and you're still having a good time playing out that lesson or playing out that pattern. That's fine. It's part of consciousness. It's what we do. But what we're saying is many of you are done with the old stories because of what's happening collectively, because of where you're all going together. There's frequencies that you're leaving behind. And so you're needing a little assistance to get to the next chapter of your light, your next chapter of your story. You see, and it doesn't have the old story. So it's true. You can do. It's here for you. Well, this is good. This is a good day. We're feeling how much collectively all of you are really, really showing up for yourself. You're showing up for each other. You're showing up in the light. And don't pay too much attention to the stories on the news, you see, because in the frequency of the energetics, humanity is really rising together. And you can feel it. So feel into the underbelly, the underneath story. Feel into the frequency, my dears, of what is happening. You can feel it on the earth. You can feel it deep within your bones. The rising up, the rising up. So ride that wave. Don't ride the artificial waves of the stories on the screens. You see, ride the real waves, my dears, so that we can really rise together. And we are. And you are. We're here to tell you you are. And we're very proud of you. You all have the meat suits. It's not the easy job, you see. So way to go. Way to go, my dears. Blessings, dear friends. We love you all dearly. We'll see you again next week. Blessings, my friends. I trust that message was exactly what you needed to hear today. And come to return. We're going to have 20 spots available for this live session that we're going to be running in September 24th through 27th. Get on the wait list, because we are only taking a small handful for this first ever live cohort that is really a synthesis of over 20 years of working with clients on a one-on-one basis, clearing these patterns at the root cause, bringing back your soul song, connecting you to your essence, connecting you to your light, connecting you to your gifts so that you can shine your light in the brightest way possible and do what you're here to do. Get over that stuck point, get over that hurdle, get over that block, get over yourself, the limitations you're putting on your own life. If you are ready for that story to end so that you can shine and be doing what you're here to do, get yourself on that wait list, because it's only going to be, again, 20 spots or so that we're going to be letting into that first cohort. And you get in as a founding member, and there's so many sweet little benefits that come along with that. But it's really the first time that we're offering this in a live group format like this. I'm super excited. I'm really excited, actually, you guys, for this. So I've already got a good group that are going to be saying yes to this. So there is already even less than 20 spots. So if you're called to this, get on the list so that you don't lose that spot. I would love to see you there. And blessings, dear friends. I can't wait to see you all next week. Thanks for joining in.